Welcome back to Wicked Unreal Myths and Mysteries, the podcast where my friends and I discuss urban myths, mysteries, and legends from all over the world. I am back again with Joshua.
Hello.
Kyle.
What's up?
Tabitha's back.
Hi.
And Kayla is off doing other things. So, how's everybody doing? Everybody had a short week?
Hot. It's
very
hot.
It's
Short, right. Short work week. Hot day
fuck
today.
you and your short work week. You work 2 days.
Yeah, I did.
Do you guys have tomorrow off?
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's why I'm here.
This is
Fair
On a
enough.
Thursday.
yeah,
Fair
that's
enough.
truly valid.
We spent the entire day at work waiting for somebody to send an email for us to go home early. It never came. Well, I'm sorry, it came for the bulk of the office, but I leave at 4 anyway, so. And then I got home, and ironically, my Sperry ate my Sperries. Woohoo! Alright.
What?
She ate my shoes. I love you, but you're being a butt. Anyway, so we are discussing Gloomy Sunday this week. Has anybody heard of Gloomy Sunday? Does anybody know what that is?
No.
Nope.
Didn't until you told me.
Come on, Kyle. You're the music guy here.
Very little.
What?
You're the whole
Okay.
reason we have an intro.
Well, yeah, but I don't know what this is. This is
Alright. Well, alright. So Gloomy Sunday was co-named the Hungarian suicide song.
oh
Yes. So, I want to preface before getting into it that there's a lot of he said, she said about this myth, a lot of conflicting information. Almost none of it can be proven short of learning Hungarian and scouring hundreds and hundreds of news articles. So, this myth, however, circulates around the song Gloomy Sunday. It said the composer of the song wrote it for his ex-girlfriend who committed suicide shortly after the song was written. It was written in 1933. The music was composed by Rezo Saras and the lyrics by Laszlo Zsibor. And first recorded by Hungarian pop singer Pál Kamar, but didn't actually receive much attention until 1936 when its connection to suicides began to be reported.
oh, it was like modern. It's like modern situation. Like 1930s.
Yeah, 1930s.
1930s.
This one, they wrote it in 1933. It was first recorded down in 1936. 1935. And then in 1936, people started committing suicide because of the song. Yeah.
Okay.
So the song goes, Sunday is gloomy, my hours are slumberless. Dearest, the shadows I live with are numberless. Little white flowers will never awaken you. Not where the black coach of sorrow has taken you. And so on, so on, so on. It's very depressing lyrics, as one would imagine, given that it was written supposedly for an ex-girlfriend.
Oh.
So yeah, it's at that point, 1936, that it begins to be known as the Hungarian suicide song. There's several versions that have been translated and recorded in America by 1936, and there's now over 70 different versions of the song. At the time, there were up to 17 suicides linked to the song before authorities began to call for limits on it being played, or reportedly even a possible ban on the song. And
Where was it banned?
so that's one of our things that has conflicting information. So either Hungary did or didn't ban it, or specific municipalities in Hungary did. I keep wanting to say Hungary.
Hungary.
I'm not hungry.
Hungary. I'm very hungry.
Yeah. So
Hungary, Dungaree.
there's a lot of reports that say Hungary did ban the song, but there's also a lot of reports that say they didn't. So that's one of
So
many.
it's neither here nor there.
Right.
Can't really tell.
They did request limitations on the song as far as like how much the radio could play and shit like that, but they can't prove an actual ban. And there was a rumor that the authorities were limiting people playing it in public spaces, so like you couldn't just go out on the street and start playing the song because they were afraid that people would just be like
Mass suicide.
start killing
There's
themselves.
actually like remakes of the other 70 songs. Not the original, was the other ones like okay? Or just the original?
They don't have great juju. It's a very so I listen to the song because I'm fucked in the head and that's what I do.
I wouldn't listen to
It's
it.
a very I wouldn't say it makes me want to commit suicide, but it's very mesmerizing. It's got a very
relatable.
I don't know about
some people with their exes.
If you have depression or
Yeah.
you have that kind of attitude, I could see where you would relate to the song.
Yeah.
Like instrumentally too.
The instrumentals draw you into it really easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can play it, but I don't know how people feel about that.
Maybe not.
Maybe
And
not.
just block your ears
Just
and go
look
blah,
into
blah, blah,
it.
blah.
Don't want to be involved
If you would
in
like to listen
anybody's
to the song,
possible suicide.
the most popular version, as far
No.
as I know, is Billie Holiday, or at least English translated version is Billie Holiday's version, which that was the version I listened to. She covered it very well, but like I said, it's a very it draws you in really easily.
Yeah. You ever
So-
heard the actual like original version?
I started listening to it, but it's in Hungarian,
Yeah.
and I don't speak Hungarian.
Nope.
The
Nope,
one
you
that
don't.
has like subtitles in English.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the lyrics don't translate exactly from Hungarian to English, so.
Yeah.
And it was actually originally titled Vega Vilagnak,
What?
or
What?
The World is Ending.
That
Oh.
sounds
So-
awesome,
That sounds so sad.
right?
Knowing that it's about an ex. Oh,
That's
The world
that's
is
too
ending.
That's
far.
fucked up.
Right?
He's taking it pretty hard.
Seriously.
There's the possibility that there could be a link between Hungary's high suicide rates at the time and the time that the reports were coming about.
Was there like a economic depression at that time in the
Hungary
area?
has historically had the highest suicide rates, or one of the highest suicide rates of almost any country.
What's
Are
the
they,
poverty?
are they real cloudy, not getting enough sunny D?
Like
Sunny
us
D,
New Englanders?
Like us, well, I mean,
That-
think about it.
In 1984,
I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. How much do they get?
Not enough.
Not, not enough.
I know in 1984 there was about 49.5 people per 100,000 that were committing suicide at the time.
What?
Per 100,000 people, about 45.9 of them were committing suicide at the time in 1984. But
More suicide per capita.
But aside from that, it's not uncommon for somebody writing a suicide note to include quotes or lyrics from a piece that relates to how they feel
Yeah.
and where the
Well, I was
song...
gonna say, what makes people think that this song killed them? Can they prove that it's the thing they were listening to when they died?
We'll get there. So in America, the claims were that the issue was even worse. Some sources, though, claim there was no suicides attached to the song, while others attribute over 200 cases in the U.S. and Britain to the English translation of the song. Some sources say there were no restrictions on the song in America. Others claim it was banned from the radio.
There's got to be some backward.
There's nothing.
There's got to be. You guys have. It's got to be like. There's got to be backwards messages in there or something.
Oh, like
have they
fucking
have they ever played the record
Led
backwards?
Zeppelin backwards.
Let's see if there's shit backwards.
yeah,
Yeah, dude, it's funky,
It's
but
weird.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
There was another
Can
report.
you imagine how much?
Effort that
Yeah,
takes.
that's not an easy feat.
That much
There's a lot
effort.
to that.
Dude, it's because I've heard one of Eminem where it was like a clear message forwards and the exact
backwards.
backwards, like talking about the same thing. Just like another message behind that. It's just fucked up. How much thought
Really?
and how many drugs does it take to know how to do that? Think about that.
It takes a
about
deal with the devil, man. Some
Good.
Faustian
believe that.
crossroads.
I believe
shit.
that shit.
Well, supposedly if you play some records backwards, the devil will appear. So
And this sounds like this is right around the time Robert Johnson
I
had
was
sold his
just
soul
gonna say
too.
that. Yep.
So like it's like that's funky as hell. That's
Or is
fun.
it
That's
bluesy as hell?
Ooh.
So there
That's
were,
some blues, bro.
there were some reports.
Smells.
I hope that was Sperry, not Josh.
I didn't do anything, thank you.
Some reports also noted a compromise that the radio stations were making to only play the instrumental version of the song. So they thought maybe if they didn't play the lyrics, then people would not kill themselves as much.
What if there's backwards messages in the instrumental?
Right.
Can't have one without the other. Bah! I don't know.
So,
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
certain beats and stuff, there are, like, depressing notes.
Oh yeah. Well, you can definitely
It's feasible.
show
It's
a
feasible, especially with,
depressing
like, a
vibe.
piano, like a violin.
Violin, well, any real instrument besides
In-
really
classical
like
instruments.
besides like a drum set, and then you can have a little bit more of just a swack to it. You can make sound.
Well, how does one swack?
One would swack
is that like
a
smooshing?
snare
One would
and a cymbal. or
swack
two.
a snare.
Swack. I will say swack
Swack
a snare
Does,
for every time
does
I'm
swacking
referencing
go along
drum
with
moves.
smooshing?
What?
Does swacking go along with smooshing?
Wow. I don't know.
Um,
I want you to go down that rabbit hole.
All right, we will move
No,
on.
we won't.
Move
We're
on.
not doing that.
Okay, and moving right along.
So before I get to the suicides, I want to talk a little bit more about Ceres's backstory. In 1933, he was a 34-year-old struggling songwriter.
That had more alcohol in that sip.
Whoa.
that was
Whoa.
rum.
So, Ceres was a 34-year-old struggling songwriter in 1933. Some sources, again, there's conflict here. Some sources had him living in Paris. Others had him living in Budapest. The story says after his girlfriend left him, he became depressed and wrote the song. Some sources say it grew from a poem. Others actually say that it was about war and apocalypse, but Javor later changed it to be a song about heartbreak. And there was a publisher that passed on the song who said there's a terrible, compelling despair about it, and I don't think it would do anyone any good to hear a song like that, which I think is a very good description of the song, personally.
One could
Haven't
say that
listened to
about
it.
like a lot of things that came out between 2000 and 2010. Evanescence,
Yes.
anything like that. Huh? Yeah, you like them?
So,
Yeah,
The
they're
open door. Yeah.
the girlfriend, her reports are also conflicting, of course. Some stories say she left him for being a deadbeat musician. Others say it was, in fact, Javor who was heartbroken and asked Ceres to compose a score for a poem he'd written. And the legend has it that she committed suicide shortly after the song was written.
Now, why do you think she committed suicide? Because she was like, she did something messed up, or she felt so bad about whatever?
She actually falls into the myth because there's a story that says after he wrote the score, he sent her a copy. And then shortly later, she was found dead with a note that just read Gloomy Sunday.
Oh. That's sketchy. That's sketchy.
So she falls right into the myth. It says that she poisoned herself, leaving only that note. Ceres himself does not actually have a great backstory. He was in a labor camp during World War II, placed in there by Nazis. He survived that, though. He worked in theater and in the circus as a trapeze artist. But eventually he returned to writing the song, but didn't have a hit until Gloomy Sunday. So he'd been at it for a while before Gloomy Sunday even hit. The story goes that he tried to reconcile with his girlfriend, but then heard that she died. And in 1968, he committed suicide as well. That story has been embellished as well and is unclear, but the most common is that he jumped from a building.
Shit.
And the myth says that he became depressed, that he was never able to write another hit after Gloomy Sunday. So, it could be writer's block, or it could be the song.
Oh, that's so weird. That's like, I don't know. That is weird.
He said of the song, "I stand in the midst of this deadly success as an accused man. This fatal fame hurts me. I cried all of the disappointments of my heart into this song, and it seems that others with feelings like mine have found their own hurt in it." So he's saying that he doesn't think necessarily that the song is causing people to commit suicide, but that people that may already have these feelings are relating to the song, and therefore using it as motive. I guess would be
Makes
the
sense,
best
Yeah.
translation of that. But what of the suicides? That's what we all came here for. So, of course, these are all speculation, and again, there's no solid evidence to indicate that the song actually had any connection with the deaths. In Vienna, there was reports that said a teenage girl drowned herself holding a piece of the song's sheet music. In Budapest, a shopkeeper supposedly kills himself after leaving a note quoting lyrics from the song. In London, a woman overdosed listening to a record of the song playing over and over and over and over again. 2 men allegedly shot themselves after listening to a band play it. Allegedly, one man requested the song.
Don't listen to that song.
Allegedly, one man requested the song
Didn't she fucking listen to it?
be played.
The fuck?
I'm a very sunny, positive person. I don't.
Not the whole
I'm good.
thing,
I'm
though.
good.
Only a
I'm
little
good.
bit.
I'm
I'm
good.
I'm good. I'm
So
good.
good.
Got it.
Allegedly, one man requested the song be played in a club and walked outside while it was playing and is said to have shot himself in the head.
Wait, it was playing at a club?
He requested it play in a club. I don't know why you would want that in a
I
club,
know, right?
but
It's so weird.
You want people to die.
well, I mean, this is also many moons ago when
Probably he
music,
was
Dude,
feeling-
what if that would
club
happen
music
today?
as we know it wasn't.
Well, you go into a regular bar today and you play that shit. How many people walk outside and just fucking off themselves?
I want to find out. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Well, no, I mean, like, just think about
Don't know.
it.
And my last example is a man who's said to have shot himself, telling loved ones that he just couldn't get the song out of his head.
What the hell?
And over and over
And over and over and over and over.
again. So there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of different versions. There's like over 70 versions of the song. Sam M. Lewis conducted his own version in 1936, and it was sung by Hal Kemp and his band. He added a third, more positive verse to the song, dreaming I was only daydreaming. So,
Could make it better.
a little bit. Billie Holiday recorded seemingly the most popular version of the song in 1941. Sinead O'Connor, Mel Torme, Sarah Vaughan, and more artists have recorded their own versions. Paul Robertson recorded the first English version of the song, is said to have died 30 years later. Billie Holiday recorded her version in 1941 and passed away in 1959. So, I don't think that their deaths had anything necessarily to do with the song, because it's not like they sang it and then off themselves.
Right. It's kind of like saying, well,
I
they
think
wrote
Billie
the song, they
Holiday had
performed the
a-
song, and then 40 years later, they died.
Billie Holiday, I think, died in an untimely manner, though.
Oh?
Billie Holiday?
I said, oh?
1915 to 1959. How many years is that?
I want to continue eating this fudge.
44. 34.
44.
40.
So she was 44 when she passed away. She did pass away in an untimely manner.
Yeah.
I don't know what she passed of.
I was going to say cause.
She died in New York in 1959 in the bed in which she had been arrested for illegal possession of narcotics. So she was on drugs.
Billie Holiday
Billie Holiday, yes.
was on drugs.
She did drugs. There is a tribute to Gloomy Sunday called Hungarian Noir, Tribute to Gloomy Sunday. It's a compilation CD of a bunch of different versions of the song, including the original Hungarian version and Billie Holiday's. I keep wanting to say Billie Eilish because this is 2020. The CD actually bears a warning that this music may be hazardous to your health and listener precaution is advised. So,
I wonder how many people want to actually
that.
listen to it. Now.
I mean, if you're fucked in the
It
head
looks-
like I am,
Don't listen to
No,
it if you're
no.
depressed.
That looks like a parental advisory
Yeah.
sticker,
Yeah,
but it
does.
literally says warning.
Yeah.
It's
As it should.
it's saying that the song may or may not be hazardous to your health, and if you fear for your life, don't listen to it, basically. But, like I said, all of these stories are speculation and allegation. There's no physical proof to indicate that the song actually has any connection to people's suicides, and therefore, it remains a myth. And that's what we're all here for, right?
A good one.
I prepared a fun fact this week, which I haven't done in a couple weeks, but I've been slacking. If anybody would like a fun fact.
Fun fact me.
Fun fact.
Fun fact me.
Question. What is the longest a chicken has ever lived without its head?
Oh, I know that one.
10 years.
5
I have no
years,
idea.
I
That
don't
is
know.
a long time. Chickens live to like 5 days. We should all know this.
Mike the headless chicken.
A year.
Mike the chicken has become known, as he has become known, was beheaded by his farmer and continued to
Off with
live
his
for
head.
18 months after its head was chopped off, September
18
10th,
months.
1945.
Wow. It's a little.
Dude,
long,
so
but not
when
that
people
long.
tell you, you're running around with it like a chicken with his head cut off, you can be like, I can, that's okay.
I
That's
got
not
18
that-
months.
At least he was alive.
At least I'm all right.
So
Yeah.
the farmer's great-grandson was quoted as saying they got down to the end and had one who was still alive up and walking around. He would often bring the chicken to market with him and make bets that he had a headless chicken that was alive, and reporters came to interview the family about the chicken, and it was
So
soon
he would just go around with a headless chicken.
just like I got a chicken in a box and it's got no head.
My cock in a box.
Eventually, it was suggested that he take it on the sideshow circuit, so they did that until they had to go back to the farm to do harvest. They still got fan and hate mail regarding the chicken. Often, though, it wasn't actually addressed to them. It was just addressed to the headless chicken and somehow made it to them. They kept it fed by dropping food and water directly into its esophagus
Just.
with a dropper, and they often cleared its throat with a syringe. And he died in the spring of 1947.
Of what?
I assume
Old
being
age.
headless.
But
Old
hey,
age, dude.
wonder-
Straight up old age. What's the average lifespan of a chicken?
a few years.
I wonder if what they did, like fed him or whatever, through his esophagus made him live longer or not.
Dude.
I don't know.
Oh, man. What the hell were they thinking?
Chickens live 5 to 10 years.
Really? How old was this chicken? Because
I don't know how old he was
got
when
its
they went
head
to
cut off.
his head,
And
but-
then lived. What if it was like. What if it was
Well,
like.
you
8-year-old
have to think
chicken.
about
What
the
if it was
quality
like
of
an
life
8,
of that
9-year-old
thing,
chicken?
too.
And it was just like. Hell, I could go 5 years like this.
You have to think about the quality of life about that thing too, because like you have to think it was probably like hey and Moana just like walking into shit.
Right?
Oh man, he's getting bruises. These are bruises.
It was
That's
suggested.
bones.
Oh, poor little
It was
guy.
suggested at the time that
Poor
Mike
little
survived
guy.
the blow because part or all of the brainstem remained attached to the body,
What?
which is, I think, where most of your
Stuff is.
nerves and shit come from. So, that is Mike the chicken.
That is
Horrific.
fucking gross.
Where's the
His
neck?
eyeballs
The
still
fuck?
move?
The
Where's
head's
the
on the
neck?
ground.
Where's the neck?
Yeah, that's his hand.
Probably,
It has no
probably
neck.
attached to the
Well,
axe.
this is like chicken's like the thing, but yeah, his neck is here. I assume this has something to do with his brainstem, and there's his head.
That is the.
Fuckiest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, it's black and white. Like, you know. Like the chicken had
It's
to be
very,
had been sitting there for a while, you know.
Like,
'cause-
never
It's a
seen
very,
it
then.
before.
it's a very
Long.
macabre photo. Just like here's the body, and
There's
here's
no
the
blood, so that's good.
head.
It can't.
So
think
is
no
the
more.
body living or is the
It
soul
can't
still
think
living?
no more. It can't feel no more.
Washed off
Body
the head
is
and just put
living.
it next
Do
to
chickens
it.
have a soul?
I don't know.
So yeah.
Boom.
Do chickens have souls?
If
Do you think chickens have souls?
if I were to say
Yes or
chickens
no?
have a soul, do they not
I don't think every
flap their
human
wings
has a
when
whole-
you
has a
tickle
soul.
their
Well, I remember-
underwing? I don't know.
I grew up-
What do you think they are? Little robots walking around?
Yeah,
Little AI robots?
yeah,
Like half conscious?
pretty much.
I remember being 6
They're
or
just
7
bred
and
to be
someone
food.
told me that dogs don't go to heaven because they
They're
don't have a
food
soul.
animals.
They do that.
You
That's so
sound
sweet.
like
Especially
the
my-
Don't you
elite
think so? I
globalist.
think they're different.
This is
No, they're chickens.
Every living thing has a
Like,
soul, I
It's
think.
like
To an
corn.
extent.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't know
protein.
You're
about
comparing
plants,
but-
chickens
Yes.
to fucking corn?
Yes,
How do you feel about turkey then?
Turkey's gross.
like it's wild chickens.
How do you?
All
Okay.
right, we're
How do you
not-
feel about predators like a tiger?
Badass.
Badass.
Owning it.
Owning it.
Owning
The
it.
fact that you don't like chickens.
I said no. I don't think everything has a soul. I don't think everybody has a soul. I think some
I
animals
think the
do.
only animal
I think
he truly
most
doesn't
humans
like is
do. I think
skunks.
dogs do.
What about cows? I was asking somebody, why don't we have cows as pets?
Because
Some
they're
people-
huge.
Some people do.
But I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
people do. What do you
Right?
think farmers do?
Well, like they also use them.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they
but
still
there's-
love them.
No,
There's-
I understand that, but like, why
They're
do
like-
you have to use them for?
There's
why-
some people that just
means-
straight up keep them for pets.
and don't milk them.
And
No.
pigs. People keep pigs too.
Well, yeah.
I want a pig really bad. All right,
Okay.
we're off
tangent.
topic.
Tangent.
That's all for us. If you have a minute and you like the show, please drop us a rating. It would help us a whole bunch. You can now find us on Stitcher, so that's a fun update. I got
That
that
is pretty
uploaded
cool.
this
No idea
morning.
what
That is pretty cool.
Stitches.
Another podcast network.
Yep.
We're
Okay.
on Stitcher and iTunes and iHeart Radio and Spotify and a whole bunch of other ones. Woo!
Nice.
Don't forget to check us out on Facebook at Wicked Unreal Myths and Mysteries, twitter.com/mythsunreal, instagram.com/wickedunreal. If you want to check out our website, there's wickedunreal.wixsite, wixsite.com/wickedunreal.
Wixsite.
Hell yeah. Jesus Christ.
I still need to get an updated picture of you. I asked like weeks
Oh,
ago.
facts.
Just like
Just like
take a fucking picture of them.
If you have, don't take pictures. You're bad at it. Give me that. Anyway, if you have suggestions, want to send us a picture, just want to reach out, hit us up directly at wickedunreal@gmail.com.
Just don't let me take the picture.
Don't let Josh take the picture. We'll be back again next week to discuss the Men in Black. I
Yes.
think was what was decided. So stay tuned. Bye.